In this video I'm going to show you how to make and integrate a help book into an iOS app. So here in the iOS simulator I've got the app we're going to use, which is called Hello Phone. Let's start it up. Here's our app, starts nice and quickly. We click the change message button down here, the message changes. And you'll see up in the top right we have a toolbar button saying help. When we touch it, nothing happens. So our job is to add a help book to be shown when this help button is tapped. ParaDocs to write the help book. Here I've got a ParaDocs file I started earlier. The help book is of course described in Markdown. We touch Edit Markdown. The Markdown file will open in any text editor you have on your system or Edit Markdown. If you don't have one, there's one provided with the app. ParaDocs Markdown files are divided into sections by this line at ref. The ParaDocs help book will tell you what comes after that, but here we have a home page indicated by the at home, an introduction page, and then a page about the main window. Now it seems it would be very useful to put a picture of the main window in there. You just drag the main window image into ParaDocs. Let's retitle it. Now if we click on the window, you'll see down here it says Markdown copy to clipboard, and we can just paste in the appropriate Markdown just like that. Alternatively, you can drag the image from the ParaDocs window into your Markdown file. So the Markdown I think is now complete, so let's make sure it's saved and close. And we'll also going to want an icon to represent the app. We use this app icon image, rename it once it's dropped into ParaDocs, and tell ParaDocs to use this as the app icon. So now our ParaDocs file is complete. This says edited. Let's make sure it's saved. These help pages into our iPhone app by compiling them into generic HTML. First of all, we need to tell ParaDocs how we want our output configured. So the help book title will be Hello Phone. We're quite happy with the app icon. We set it earlier. If we wanted, we could pick any image that ParaDocs knows about from this list. Here we could set this if we wanted to generate an Apple help book to incorporate into a Mac app. We don't. We're looking for generic web pages. Anything below this line only matters if we're dealing with Apple Help Bundle. So our configuration is complete, and now we just need to tell ParaDocs to compile our help book. We touch compile. I'm going to put it on the desktop. If you're compiling HTML, you need to give it a directory to put all the files in. So let's call that Hello Phone Book. We'll create the folder, our outputs into the folder, select the output folder, and off we go. And it's that quick, it's done. If we open the folder here, we can see all the files that ParaDocs has just created. Here are the images, here are the pages that we just created. If we open the index file in a web browser, here we go. And we can see the pages that we created. And here is our image window. So the first thing we need to do to show our help inside our iOS app is to import those HTML files into the Xcode project. So you can see here in this window, here's my Hello Phone Xcode project. I'm going to grab the directory full of HTML that we created earlier and drag that into the supporting files. This next bit is important. You need to create folder references for the added folders. So make sure you select folder references, finish, and here we have that set of files in the app that will be maintained as a directory. If you've got more than one target in your project, you might need to come over to this side and select the targets you want to include the file in. That'll be better. Select the target membership. Here I've only got one target I'm going to produce, so I don't need to change those tick boxes at all. So here's the Xcode source. I've added a couple more files to handle displaying the help book. But first, let's have a look at the view controller. I've added a handler for when the help button is clicked, which creates a view controller to show the help file and then presents it modally. Now, this could easily come up in a popover. It could have been slid on using a navigation view. I'm just choosing to present it modally in this particular case. It's up to you how you get that view controller on the screen. Then we have a help view. I've created a nib for the help view, which has a toolbar at the bottom for a done button to tell the app to get rid of the help view. Do remember the done button, unless you're showing this in a popover, you need a way to get the help off the screen when the user's done with it. And then a back button to allow the user to go backwards in the help book. And then the rest of the view is entirely comprised of a web view. Then the help view controller itself, we have a property which points to the web view, so the view controller can control the web view, and an action for handling the done button. Then, in the implementation file, I've just set up an init method, which knows which nib defines the view controller, so I can just call init rather than having to go through init with nib name and get that right there. In view will appear, I find in the main help bundle, or in the main app bundle, the index for the help book, which is in the directory we created earlier. The resource is called index with extension HTML. Then create a request from that URL and tell the web view to load that request. And that's all there is to it. The only other special code I've got in there is to handle the done button and get rid of the view controller when it's clicked. Let's see how that works. Let's just run, open the simulator, and here comes the app. So here is our app running. As you see, we changed the message like we did before. If we want to see the help, we click the help button, up it comes. We can touch main window, and it shows us about the main window. We can drag it up and down. When we've had enough, we can go back and we can see the rest of the index. And when we're done with the help, we press done. It's that easy.